Hello, everyone. It is about to be AMA time. I think we threw some people off. The US had their time change this past weekend, so it is still 2 p.m. Eastern for the AMA. That just changed relative to some other folks. So we'll give it just another minute. I think we actually have everybody on stage already. Perfect. We'll give it just a minute for some more people to fill into the audience, and then we will get started. All right. We'll go ahead and get started with today's AMA. A couple of real quick housekeeping things. I am currently hanging out through the outer bands of the latest hurricane. So if I disappear, I'll be right back. I'm just going to switch to my phone and then I'll hop back on. But if I disappear, don't worry, it'll be okay. Aside from that, we don't have Dreamer with us today. He is taking care of some real life stuff. He was reminded that real life existed and had to go handle some things. And then Beetle Dude as well. He is taking a very well-deserved vacation this week. So he is not with us today either. But the rest of us are here and we are excited for today's AMA. So I'm going to stop talking and go to Frisky Fox.
Hey, thank you over there, Bolin. Hope everything's staying safe for you over there in Florida. Is it like the Nicole? Is that what it is? That storm?
Yeah. It's right now actually I think it's over on the west coast, but it came in through the southeast coast and we're just catching all the outside of it, so wind and rain.
Dang. Yeah, well, yeah, it's been a busy week. Things have been everything just always kind of goes at like breakneck speed here in this industry, and I've said it a lot in the past, but it feels like all the weeks are actually months and all the months are years just because there's just so much going on. And speaking of which, it's been a very interesting time the past few days, just in the general markets. I'm sure most people here are pretty well aware of all that's been going on, and it's just kind of a like reminder of the volatility that can exist in this space. That's kind of a two-edged sword. It's why we love it, it's why we hate it. But that's where we are, and that's where we're building, and it's just a like reminder of how cutting edge this whole field is, and how like the stuff that we're doing hasn't been attempted in the past. So it feels really good to be able to build in this space and to have a like really good team and project and a community that is just here to support all of that. So really stoked about that. Speaking of stuff that has happened, last week we had a surprise release. Wait, it was last week, right? For SiJoule. I'm pretty sure.
That sounds
Am I
right.
right there, Colin? Yeah, okay.
Sure.
It's
That sounds right.
as I said, it was like a month ago in our in like our minds, right? Um, but yeah, that has seen a huge adoption rate. I would consider it a huge success as well. We've seen over 27 million joules get lots, which is I think over a quarter or about a quarter of the total circulating joule supply, which is amazing. Over 2,000 stakers. And you see a lot of like really big wallets, a lot of really small wallets, which is really the intent there is just to allow everyone a chance to come and to join in on the like rewards of the protocol. So it's really cool to see the adoption rate there. We also had our first SiJoule vote to like do some rebalancing of the gardens because the X Jewel pool was retired. It was basically replaced by SiJoule. And as a part of that, we also like rebalanced some of the gardens, and we said, hey, why not hold our first SiJoule vote to do that? And so that went out, and it seemed like everything went smoothly with that. And you'll see a lot more of that in the future as well. It feels really, really good to be able to use SiJoule for the governance because it's so resistant to like playing around from like really big wallets that just want to go in and buy up a bunch and then vote and then immediately dump it. That's not really feasible anymore under this new system. So it's a lot more secure. So I'm stoked about that, and it seems like it's all been going really well. I think there was someone in the community, Long Zai. He had some metrics that he pulled. It seems like the average locking period is almost 1 year for those. So that's really cool as well, just to see a little bit more stability that it will instill into the markets. Moving on from that, we also announced a launch date for Serendale 2.0, which is the 21st of November. And we're really excited about that we're able to finally share that with the community and be in a place where we're pretty far ahead of our Q4 deadline, which would be, I guess, at the end of the year. We're trying to get that launched mid-November and still have a lot of other things planned for this year as well. So really stoked about that. If you haven't seen that article or tweet, feel free to go read it. There'll probably be someone who sticks a link in the channel. Part of that, we have a lot of things to kind of like wrap up to prepare for that. So probably the biggest one is the splitting, as I'm calling it, which is essentially everybody's lot jewels on Harmony will be split into a bunch of different buckets, including locked crystal, locked jade, liquid jade, jewel that will vest on Crystal Veil, jade that will vest on Serendale, etc. So a lot of what I've been doing this week is actually creating all the smart contracts that will facilitate those things. And we do plan to have 4 out of those 5 buckets ready to go at launch for the Serendale 2.0 launch. So that will include locked jade, liquid jade for the initial liquidity, jade that will vest at the same schedule as the old lot jewel, jewel that will vest at the same schedule as the old lot jewel as well on Crystal Veil. And I think that's all of them. And then the other 5th one for the locked crystal will probably be like 2 or 3 weeks after all that, because there's additional things we need to do to facilitate that on Crystal Veil, including like raising the cap for the crystal token, which will entail a hard fork to do, which isn't as scary as it sounds. We actually do hard forks all the time. I think we did one just recently to prepare for opening up the chain to allow anybody to put their own smart contracts out on our chain, which is another huge step towards the end goal of having our chain just be very open and a place where anyone can come and build. But Magnus, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong about that. I think I said that right.
Yeah, we've done a couple hard forks at this point, so it'll follow more or less the same formula going forward.
Right. Essentially, anytime we do an upgrade of our chain, it's actually a hard fork under the covers, and it's the same way that C chain works as well. Like almost every time that they do an upgrade there, it also entails that, which means all of the like validators have to update, etc. It's a little bit easier for us because we are all of the validators, but in the future, as we start to open that up more, it's going to be a lot more involved. And I'm really stoked for that too. It's just a step towards the like end goal of having us be very open and secure and trustless, which we're trying to work towards with all these changes that we're making. So that's exciting. Speaking of our chain, Magnus, I know that we had some things we changed last night. I don't know if you just like want to spend some time and kind of speak about those now and then hand it over back to me and I'll go on.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, so last night we saw some of the metric spike on DFK chain, and so in an abundance of caution, we decided to preemptively lower the gas limit to keep things running smoothly with the increased traffic we were seeing. Typical was able to get a front end deployment out really quickly with multi-questing and lower that to the 20 million limit. So the front end kept working. And so we're seeing the metrics look better today. We've got some upgrades on our side as well as on the Avalanche side of things. And so over the weekend and going into the weekend, we're planning to raise that back to 25 million. And then if things look good, back to the full 30, so we can get as many heroes in as possible on the multi-questing feature. But yeah, that's it for me. Stay tuned on that.
Yeah, and a huge kudos to Avalabs. It was them who was sort of like monitoring some of those spikes, and actually, I think as early as a couple weeks ago, they started to see some things there that could be optimized. Probably even further back than that, and they created those, went and tested them, and asked us to upgrade our nodes, which we just were able to complete last night. So now all of our nodes are currently on their latest version and have those optimizations in there. And so then as a part of monitoring that, our plan is to slowly step that back up from 20 to 25, and then sort of like monitor that over the weekend. And then everything is good there and smooth, we'll up it all the way back up to 30, is our plan right now. So yeah, it's always really a pleasure to work with them. They're very responsible and really good at what they do, and they help to make us look good as well. And also a huge kudos to our team that is like managing those nodes. Anytime there's any like updates and things there, our team is always very responsive to make sure that we get those updated ASAP as well. So great. Speaking of the splitting again, to kind of circle back to that. In order to get ready for that, we need to do a snapshot of the locked jewels on Harmony, and that has to have sort of like a final cutoff date where after that date, anything that happens won't be recognized anymore for the purposes of that snapshot and that airdrop. So our plan is to have that get held on the 14th, which is this next Monday. I think we'll announce an exact time in our announcements channel probably after this sometime. But just be aware that, probably there isn't anyone really doing anything with those anyways, but just on the 14th, that's when we'll do that final snapshot. Make sure if there's anyone out there trying to like say, hey, I'll send you locked jewels or anything like that, like don't do any of that anyways, but especially not after the snapshot, because those won't count for anything. So just be aware of that. If you have any questions about that, feel free to ask. Let's see. Market conditions again. We haven't got Dreamer here, and he's like usually like the guy who would be weighing in on these things more. So I'm gonna try my best. But essentially, like what we saw over the past couple of days, a lot of ups and downs in the markets, mostly downs. We see that a lot here in crypto, but it seems like, especially over the past few months, it's always been things related to like centralized protocols and like centralized exchanges and things like that. Like we've seen, I probably shouldn't like name any names, but just it's a argument towards, if it's not stored in your wallet, it's not really your coins. And that's kind of been the ethos or like mantra, I guess you could say, here in this space for a long time. And it's another argument to use like trustless, fully on-chain mechanisms for like trading and for like your stuff that you're doing over there, like with well, I guess just like the stuff that like we're doing here with our decks is exactly what we would want to see there, to make sure that you're in control of your assets. You don't have to trust anyone with those, and that's really what it's all about. So I'm really pleased and proud to be able to work in this space, because I think that is the future. And I think as you see a lot of these things happening, you'll see a lot of people realizing that and starting to move towards more of a trustless situation. With that said, I have had a lot of questions about, is our project exposed to anything in like the recent news? I was actually specifically asked about FTX, if we had any holdings there, and the answer is no, we don't. We don't actually take any kinds of loans or anything, or have our assets stored on any kind of centralized exchanges. We're pretty like risk averse with our approach. and we're always very careful to ensure everything that we do is very, very low risk and always like sets us up to be able to continue to build, whether the market goes up or down or anywhere that it will go. We're still set up in a very good way to be able to continue to build, even in like a huge like slump and things like that. So I also got asked, will this impact any of our launch dates and things? And the answer is no. Like it's not impacting any of that. It's not impacting our ability to work or anything in any way, really. It actually feels really, really good to be in the position that we're in because we've already prepared for the worst. And so if the worst comes, we're like, okay, we got this, you know. So it feels really good to be in that spot. Let's see. Some of the other things I think are actually going to be asked later as questions, so I'll skip over those, and I guess I'll just hand the mic back over to you, Bolon.
Awesome. I do appreciate it. Quick side note, we did front run you a little bit. So that article is pinned in the AMA voiceless chat. We will announce it later, but that article has the details of what to expect with the Serendale launch. But it does also include the snapshot time, which is noon Eastern on the 14th. So sorry about that. We front ran you a little bit there. And that snapshot will also include lands. So for any land holders, don't transfer them after that because it's not going to do you any good. All right. So after that, we were going to go. Magnus, I know you already did a mini update there. Did you have anything you wanted to add to it?
Nope, that's it for right now.
Easy enough. Let's go, Hubert.
Hey guys, yeah, I'll just share a few updates as far as what's going on in my orbit. Just recently this week finished up everything regarding the Gen Zero reroll event that's going to come along with the release of the new Gen Zeros. For those that are familiar with what happened when we launched Crystal Vale, it's going to be the same reward structure that we used back then. So you'll be able to reset your summons to a certain amount depending on how many of your genes you're rerolling. And it's the same gene sets that are going to be rerollable for the Gen Zero holders as it was last time too. And this last time only the original Gen Zeros were eligible for a reroll. This time it's the original Gen Zeros plus the Crystal Vale Gen Zeros are also eligible. So that'll be a little bit after the initial launch, but just so you're aware that is coming, and it'll be a 30-day event when that happens. Other than that, I've just been working closely with Wisdom Gaming on PvP, as well as looking at our timeline and seeing where we can fit in some features I'd like to focus on in the short term. So not going to go into too much detail on those yet, but I'm excited if we can make everything work out the way I'd like. So more details to come in the future. Thanks.
Awesome. Pieface?
Ooh, yay! Cool. So it's been a while since I've been in an AMA, but we've definitely been working really hard with planning a lot of marketing with Clayton and for the Serendale launch coming up in a couple Mondays from now. And yeah, we're really excited about that. And then I would love to share, there's a DeFi Kingdoms community gathering event going on, and that's happening next week in California, so Southern California. And so I'm not sure of those people who've been on Twitter have seen that there's been posts and photos and videos of bloaters, and because it's being dropped into the AMA Voices chat. But yeah, Christian Peter, he posted the bloaters and plush and hats that I sent over there. So there's a handful of those, limited quantities, I apologize, but if you guys make it over to Southern California for this event, you can either be lucky enough to grab your own bloater or even get to hug and punch one. So I'm so excited for that. And And of course, we're definitely working on getting them in the merch store. It'll be about the end of November or December. But yes, it's very exciting. I every time anyone sees it, I just love the face so much. It's just, it makes me laugh and smile every time I look at it. So then another thing I would love to share is, as I'm not sure if anyone has seen this yet as well, but crypto.com, they have a university section, and it's where they house a lot of, educational articles. And they actually posted a new one called "What Are NFT Games? 4 games to play in 2022." And along with Axie Infinity, Gods Unchained, and Sandbox, DeFi Kingdoms has been featured, which is really awesome. And this was not paid at all. This was fully organic. And as we know, Crypto.com has a huge reach. It's an amazing way to gain a lot of exposure and onboard people. And we've also made sure that the information in the article is accurate as well. And yeah, we're excited to come across things like this, and we're excited about that. And yeah, that is everything from me. Thanks, everybody.
That's really exciting about that article. It was really cool to see that. I think at first it had a few things that were sort of like outdated. So Mr. Zipper and Pieface were really good about like reaching out to them, and I think they updated that within less than a day or something, which is really cool as well. So yeah, it's like really cool to see that article there. I have to know though, Pieface, you've said punch for these bloaters a few times that I've heard. Have you ever hit one of these fish?
I definitely like hug them and then like knead them, and then because like that's how you can like distribute the fluff on the inside, and
It's
then
for their own good. I see. Okay.
yeah, in doing that, I do get some punching out of there as well.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, the first time my stepdaughter saw it, or the first words out of her mouth were, "Oh, a fish! Can I slap it?" Why? Why is that your first response? But it's just something about the face, apparently. Awesome. Let's go to Sunbear.
Hey, everybody. I just have to say, Pi, I am super excited about bloaters for Christmas. I can just see them on the tree, on the mantle, or Hanukkah, or whatever you celebrate. Bloaters are the perfect gift. I'll just say that. Let's see. I'm excited to talk a little bit about the Kingdom Building Committee today, and just to show our efforts to continue to build with our community members, with our partners out there. We have expanded our committee. And so I'm really excited to announce that Mr. Zipper has actually joined not only our committee, but will be leading it with me. And he will be focusing on development with community, which is really his forte and what he's been doing for months, helping support builders in the community with the resources and helping be a liaison and all that kind of stuff. So he is going to be really heading up that piece, and I will be focusing more on partner relationships, especially as we go into the partnership with Clayton and the multiple partners there, and creating these 2 amazing metaverses with people that are excited to build with us. So really expanding what we're capable of there, and Zipper and I have been really starting to brainstorm like how we can expand this program. And I think you're going to be pretty excited about some of the stuff we're considering and talking about to help support builders out there. So more to come on that. I also just wanted to mention, I know I mentioned it last time, but Level, which is a social gaming platform that basically you can use them, go sign up with them to reward on-chain gameplay. It's kind of their whole focus, and we are pretty much their premier service that they want to help promote. And so you can earn their token and work with their NFT, things like that, by doing stuff on DFK. So really excited about that. They're queued up to be launched in the we're going to put them in the Jester, in the Castle, next time we do a patch update, and looking forward to that and many more to come. Thanks, everybody.
Much appreciated, Mr. Zipper.
Sure. Thanks, everybody, and thanks for having me up on this AMA stage. I think the last time I was on an AMA, I was asking questions, and it was probably last November, so it's been a while, and I'm glad my mic still works. So I'm super excited to not only be joining the team officially, but also to be involved with the build committee and to be leading that with Sunbear. He's done such a great job over the past however long it's been now, year, through a lot of adversity and getting to where we are now. So, really excited to, follow in some of his footsteps and continue working with him and building with him and working with all of the community and all the relationships that I've built with many of you guys for, to make some really cool stuff happen in the future. So I think as part of that, I guess I get to announce that last night the committee did vote to approve one new application for approval in the archivist. So we're really happy to announce that DFK Alerts is going to be coming to the archivist in the very near future, probably with our next release. So I know that their extension has been really popular, and Matt's a big great guy in the community, so we're really excited for that to come, and big congrats to Matt and his team. So we're really looking forward to that. And as Sunbear said, we've got some great ideas coming, and just stay tuned for some stuff in the future. So thanks so much.
I just want to say it's great to have you on this side of the AMA, Zip. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
All right. So, moving into some questions. I know there's a couple that we've already covered. Thank you to Frisky Fox. Let's see. One of those being, and like I said, Fox, you did cover it, but just to say it again, no intention of changing the Serendale launch date based on market conditions at this time. Let's see. All right, so let's start with this one, actually. Any information on leaderboards? Are we still planning a return of leaderboards? Do we have anything in mind right now? I think that's probably Fox or Hubert or both.
Yeah, I'll just weigh in on this. I'm a big fan of leaderboards. I think that it's a big part of a competitive play, and it's like really cool to see and like reward those that are, like our best players and like a lot of different metrics. With that said, I think that we do need more of like the game in place before we go hard on those. Otherwise, it just ends up being like, who's the biggest whales, or who can like run the most bots or something like that. So I think rather than like launching right back into those, we are trying to prioritize some of like the ancillary things that should be in place first. Things like achievements, and like some of those things that are more like the social aspect of our game, because those are a big part of like the recognition that we want to give players. And I sort of see like leaderboards as the same type of thing. It's about like recognition. So we're going to build back up to that, but not right away.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Let's see. For our next question, it is Serendale related. When Serendale is out again, which of the two realms will be prioritized for new features, or are they going to be simultaneous, more or less?
I'll start on this one too, and feel free to hop in, anyone else. But it's hard to give a hard and fast rule that will always apply, because there are certain features that will be like realm specific. So in the cases of those, obviously it will launch on one and not the others. There will be some that might launch on one first and then expand to another. It kind of depends on the feature, but I think by and large, generally speaking, we do want to keep the two realms pretty much in like sync when it comes to some of the generalized features. So for a lot of those, and for probably the majority of what we do, you'll see a lot of the features would get like released at the same time on both zones, I would think. So that's our approach for that, generally speaking, although there will be exceptions.
Perfect. No one else is unmuting, so apparently they all agree. I know there have been a couple of questions about any updates on Joule getting a centralized exchange listing. We don't have Dreamer with us here today, so unless anybody wants to weigh in on that, we'll table that until next week. All right, perfect. So we'll table that until next week when we have Dreamer with us. Let's see. So will we be able to save Duel's teams loadouts at some point so we don't have to select them every time? Again, if anybody wants to chime in, feel free, but primarily a Beetle Dude question who we don't have with us. However, we've talked about it in the past. It's definitely like having a grouping system for heroes for all kinds of different purposes is something that is on our radar. So it is something that is still being worked on, but I don't have any updates on it at this time. If anybody else wants to chime in, feel free. Otherwise, we can always follow that up next week with Beetle, but I know it is something that he's thinking about and working on.
Yeah, that's true. He's out on a very well-deserved vacation, but I know that he has been spending a lot of time thinking and talking about that as well. I'll also just note that we do have other things that we want to like use that for besides just duels. It'll be for quests and even like a lot of our upcoming automated things, which I think you also kind of mentioned on too, but just reiterating that.
And one other thing that's primarily a Beetle question, but we have also talked about is Tavern and hero catalog filters for now permanently deceased heroes, dark summoned heroes, PJ heroes. That is also something being worked on, as well as some other filter options and markers. Again, if anybody wants to chime in, feel free, but that is something actively being worked on currently.
I'll also add for upcoming things there, like you'll probably see some sort of like a badge or a marker that would note if a hero participated in a certain season for duels. And part of the reason that we want to do that is because in the future we would like for like seasons to be set up such that like heroes can only play in like a specific season under one like wallet at a time, and that will prevent like multi-walleting and things for seasons. So with that said, the like ramifications there is that if you buy a hero from someone else who's already played it in that season, then you won't be able to use it in that season for duels either. You'd have to wait till next season. So part of that is we'd want to have that show on the area over there with like the filters and things over in the tavern. So that will be something that will be added as well.
Which we actually have a duels question and a tavern question, so we'll hit the tavern question first and then go to the duels question. Why is it that when a player lists their hero for sale, they do not see it in the tavern results?
Yeah, that's an easy one, and I think we've talked about it before. It's basically just like the user experience. Most players are, if they're on the tavern, they're trying to find a hero to hire or to sell, or like to buy. And they wouldn't want to see their own because they wouldn't be trying to hire or to purchase their own hero. So that's really the main reason there. If you want to see yours, then you have the My Heroes page for that. It's really just like user experience.
Duels question. So actually this is a few parts, so I'm going to take it part by part. So when is the last day for Duels Season 1? Is it exactly 6 weeks from the first day?
This is a really good question, and I might not have the answer for it right now. But so originally we were kind of talking about having like the seasons be 6 weeks. We did have a discussion, I think, a week ago in our tokenomics committee about that specific topic and about how 6 weeks might be too short. And so we had a vote to actually increase that to 8 weeks, but we didn't specify if that was going to actually apply to season 1 or not. So if we did 6 weeks, which we sort of like softly said towards the start that we would be trying to do 6 weeks. If we did 6 weeks, I think that would put it as ending on the 19th, I think it is, which would be next Saturday. If we did 8 weeks, that would be the 3rd of December. So I will get back to you guys on that, and I'll put in a announcement today in the channel just to sort of like have it be official, but it'll either be the 19th or the 3rd.
Excellent. The second part of the question, how are rewards going to be given? Are we doing rewards for each rank? Will we have rewards for first to third? Not necessarily what the rewards will be, but what tiers we're looking at for the rewards.
Another really good question. So for season 0, we sort of did all of the above, and we're sort of just experimenting with things. It also was kind of like a one-off special case because, again, it was season 0, which is kind of like an alpha of like this whole system, and we just wanted to like reward the players that were early adopters. So with that said, our plan is to still do like the rank rewards, similar to what we did last time, where for each rank you hit, you will get something. Our plan for this go around though is to have a smart contract that will facilitate that. So instead of us manually having to like airdrop those to all of the people, it'll be a lot more self-serve, where like you'll be able to just go and claim those. And then for the future seasons, you'll see that actually probably get added into the interface, like for duels. As you hit those ranks, you'll be able to get those. And speaking of those ranks, for season 1, we're still doing the rank system where you need 500 points for each level. But for season 2 and onward, we actually are planning to adopt a new scale for that, so that it's a lot easier to rank up at the lower end. Like you don't have to get a whole like 500 points just to hit rank 2. I think it's something like 40 or 50 points, and then it kind of scales up after that. Those will happen for season 2 and onward. But for this one, it'll still be the 500 for each one. It'll be a smart contract that will allow you to claim that. And the way that we did the prizes for the first time for the top 3, we decided that it wasn't very effective to do that. Instead of that, we're essentially allocating those amounts towards a general like raffle that should still prioritize and reward those that are in the like those like very top spots, because those players will get the most entries into those and stand the best chance to win those. So the plan is to scale up the rewards that will be for that part of it at like the end, having like that manual raffle and things. So hopefully that helps to clear that up. And just kind of another note that, you know, each season we do will be a little bit different. We're sort of using each of these as an experiment to see like what works and like what doesn't work, and how can we improve for the next season, so that each successive one will be more of a good experience for our players each time as we go.
Perfect. And that actually kind of rolls right into the final part, which is how do you feel about Duel Season 1? Was it good or not what you expected? And any teasers for planned improvements for Season 2?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. Whoever asked this question is like, this is a really good question. So
Shock Velo.
I liked a lot of things. Oh, sorry, what was that?
Shock Velo.
Oh, nice. I really liked a lot of things for season 0. It was our first time experimenting with doing matchmaking on chain. A lot of people said it couldn't be done, and we did it. And you know, like with that said, like there was a lot of things that were still pain points that I feel like we addressed with season 1, including like having your teams get matched with other teams that are of similar power a lot more frequently than having like a, you know, like a level 1 being matched with like a level 20 or something, which of course we would like to avoid. So I think that was great. There's a lot of things I really like about how we changed up things with the matchmaking, but there's still things that I think we need to improve on. And a lot of those are more trying to basically figure out what is the weighting that we want to do between hero levels and player score. I think currently we're erring on the side of hero levels, but I think what we need to do is we need to change it so it'll err more on the side of player score, to ensure that if you're, you know, like rank 8 and you have a team that's level 5 on average, and everyone else at that hero level is rank like 2, maybe we'll have like you at rank 8 get matched against a team that's higher level, just to sort of help to balance that out and to ensure that like you can't just get super high on the ranks from just staying at a like lower level or something like that. So that is a thing that I'm going to be looking at for season 2. And there's a handful of other things too that it'll just be like able to track more metrics around the teams that are passive and ensure that they aren't staying in there for like too long. I think we're looking at imposing a time limit so that it can't be in there over a certain time, or else it'll get like removed. And then also a like max duel amount for each of those teams as well. So you'll see a lot of those teams that are there as like the passive teams sort of be like circulated in and out a lot more frequently, so that it'll have more like variety there as well. And there's a handful of other things too with like the ranking and having those get changed up. And I think those are some of the main ones we're looking at. So stay tuned for season 2. I think it's going to be even better than season 1.
Most definitely. All right. The next question is, at this stage, is there anything we are prepared to give on guilds and guild integrations?
I'll jump in on this one. Unfortunately, we don't really have a lot that we can share right now. We have a lot of different ideas, and it is tied to land and kind of the next stage of the game where we're going to have heroes traveling around and interacting with the map, and the map doing different things. And so it all kind of feeds into that, and that's a very complex system, and a lot of decisions still need to be made for that. And it kind of takes, we just need to take it one step at a time. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of info to share at the moment. However, if you have any suggestions, we're talking about having opening up something on the talk site to allow people to provide suggestions for what we could do with guilds. And yeah, I don't know if anyone else has anything else I want to add.
I'll chime in here too, if you don't mind. I'm excited about guilds. I think it's going to be a big part of the play of the game and like the experience from the social aspect, which is a big part of MMORPGs. And we have a lot of cool ideas, but we're also interested to hear everyone else's ideas too, because really like the sky's the limit for these things. We have a lot of opportunities of stuff that we could do. It could play into like lands, into SiJoule system, all kinds of really cool things that we could do in all those fronts. So please do go add your thoughts onto that new board, which I think Bolon will probably set up later and announce. And we're interested to hear everyone's ideas.
Yep, I will be getting that board set up later, specific to guild ideation. So if you have any thoughts or things you want to see, make sure you post them there, and that'll be live today. Excuse me. That'll be live today, shortly after this AMA. All right. Next question is on the future of SiJoule. Wondering if, as more features are released, crafting, PvP, PvE, land use, etc., will those features also distribute fees to SiJoule holders?
I'll also jump in on this one then. So yes, I mean, the plan is in general that we will be using the same fee structure for anything that charges in the power token. So in the future we may have a fee associated with crafting, and so a portion of that would go to the jeweler, portion of that would go to the quest fund, just essentially following the schedule, the fee distribution schedule we've announced previously. However, it's always possible that we may have some features that we want to do things a little bit differently. Duels is an example of that. So I'm not going to rule out that it's not possible that it will always follow that rule, but in general, that is our approach, is to follow the standard distribution.
Fantastic. Let's see. Fox, you already spoke about FTX, so we'll skip over that one. So level 10 profession quests and pets. So this is actually a two-part question. Part 1 is, will level 10 profession quests be launched on both realms? I'll pause there.
Yes. Plan is to have them both launch at the same time.
I was kind of hoping you would just say yes and remute, just done. And then the second one, will holding SiJoule or SiJoule provide power-ups towards level 10 profession quests?
Yes. I have more actually. So I just want to say it's somewhat indirectly, but yes. One of the first power-ups that we have planned is an experience boost power-up, and that would affect all quests. So it would affect level 10 quests also, but not just specific and exclusive to level 10. And there is also one associated with pets that I have planned as well. So more details when that gets closer.
Hey, if we're talking about planned power-ups, I'm gonna put a plug from my idea was to have a sort of like a daily login like reward or something. Sort of like what you see on like a lot of games where every day you log in, you're able to claim something. I'd like that to be a power-up as well. I think it's a good use case for it. So throwing that out there.
I'm really excited for the AMA that we make Sasha come up here and just talk a lot about power-ups and some things that you can get with them. So I really look forward to that. I know that he is too. Uh, awesome. Well, that actually takes care of all of the questions that we had submitted for this week. So we will do a little wrap up around the horn and should be good to go. I would just remind everybody that next Monday, prepare to see a lot of Ring gifts, like the movie The Ring, so we can work some 7 days into there. Also, there is still not a published and launched contract for Jade, so my usual reminder: if you see a Jade token, it is not our Jade token. Please remember to know what you are buying. Oh, and Sandwich Punch called me out on it as I started saying it. Well played. Anyway, yeah, be aware of what you're buying. It will not be our Jade token. Thank you, everybody who's up here. Thank you, everybody who's in the audience. And then we can do a quick around the horn for wrap up and call it a day. Let's see. Magnus, you want to go first? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'll just say I'm really looking forward to the Clayton launch. Been working on the testnet contracts this week.
Awesome. Second best dad, I know I said I'd be nice to you today, but did you want to add anything to the wrap up?
I would love to add something to the wrap up. I just wanted to say that everybody on the art team is really appreciative of the community's feedback on the Dark Summoner, and we're really excited that people seem to like what we're doing. And also, Beetle Dude isn't here, so I win by default.
Fair enough. Pieface?
Yeah!
Oh, that's hilarious. I'm just so grateful for everybody in the community. It's been a lot. I don't know. A lot of people are coming up to their 1 year of being in DeFi Kingdoms and all of that, and it's really exciting how what a year it's been. And there's just so much more to come, and I'm so excited for that. And yeah, just feeling a lot of gratitude for everybody. And I don't have any witty phrases, but love you guys.
Sunbear?
Yeah, I'm sneaking up on my 1 year actually. I was hired part-time right before Decentral Miami last year, and that was my first event and connection to the team. So really excited to be back there again this year with our team representing. And I just have to say, I know you've heard me say things like this before, but more than ever, this team is a well or oiled machine. Like, more than I've ever seen it. We are being efficient. We are being creative. We are working super well together. We get decisions made in a very productive way. And even just some of the meetings we've been in the last couple of weeks as we prepared for Clayton, it's really great to see the leadership that's there, the collaboration, and just how it's all coming together. There's just a lot of excitement in the team right now. A lot of great support and really amazing people. So really grateful, like Pi said, to be a part of it and to be a part of this community.
Also, thank you for plugging Decentral, which I forgot about. But yeah, we'll be in Miami in a couple weeks or a few weeks for Decentral. We have a bunch of community members coming as well, which we're really excited for. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a fun event. Hubert.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess kind of echoing the same sentiments that everyone has. The team is really pushing hard to have the Serendale launch on Clayton be something that we can do rapidly. But of course, we're taking a lot of care to make sure we do it correctly. But with our ability to do that, since most of the assets that we're going to be doing are existing assets, it allows us to soon be able to turn our focus towards new content as a regular thing. We're going to be done essentially with feature parity and moving existing features around, and so I'm really looking forward to turning our focus back towards the future of the project and the things that we can do there. And it's been a lot of fun this past little while where we've really started to ramp things up internally. So yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you all. Everyone in the community has been super supportive, and that's really, really appreciative. It's a lot of stress sometimes working in this environment, and we always appreciate the good vibes that you guys give us. So thank you all.
For sure. Dr. Zipper.
Why do I go second to last? All right.
I wanted to make you last. I was trying to be nice.
Well, all right. Well, I am excited to be here. I am excited to build, and just so grateful to this team and this community. I'm not a doctor yet. That'll be next week, but we're getting there. So thanks to all of you, and I'll see you on the other side.
Excellent. And we will go to Frisky Fox to close us out.
All right. Yeah, I mean, everyone said it already. I don't know if I have anything else left to say. Like, I'm excited about Miami. I think it's going to be really cool. We're sort of like a mainstay there now, and really proud of like Risen and his efforts there to ensure that we got some like really good stuff there for our booth. And I think even like some of our community members were awarded some attending slots there as well, so really cool about that. Super stoked about Serendale. It'll feel really good to get that up and running again. There's a lot of effort and love and care that has been poured into that over the past year plus, and it'll feel really good to get that up and running again. And also just having a new expansion. Sorry, there's my dog. Oh no. Anyways, having the expansion, I'm gonna go to a different room. Having the expansion is really exciting because like there's a whole new group of players that will like hopefully be coming over to see what we're all about and see how amazing we are and stay. And having like a new power token there for that as well, along with some new heroes. It's just really exciting to sort of like have this opportunity to have all these like new content and new players and new airdrops and snapshots and the splitting stuff that I've been working on. It's really cool. To echo some of the points that Sunbear made, it feels really good to be on this team and to see the professionalism of everyone on our team and how expert each individual is in like what they do. We have probably the best team in the world at expanding onto other chains. We've already had one, and we're about to have our second one now, and we're expert at it. And it feels really good to see how we have all these things already figured out, already planned for, and I'm feeling really stoked about that. So let's see, making sure there's nothing else. I think that is it. Kudos to the hard work for our team. There's been amazing things happening there internally, and it feels really good to be able to see that every day. I know all of you here can't always see all the things that we're doing internally, but there's a lot going on, and there's really good work being done. I think I'll turn the time back over to Zipper to end us out, as the crowd has been saying they want to hear you say something. So go ahead, Zipper.
All right. Bullish.
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 Bullish.